All right, so if you remember back to your anatomy lesson, that I told you that the supraspinatus is the main offender in the vast majority of painful shoulders. Now, so if you did this, especially if you went, oh yeah. Now, this is called a painful arc syndrome, which I'm about to go into. But this is called subacromial, sub underneath. Remember our acromion up into here, supraspinatus going underneath it. So, and again, I'm going to teach you this in more detail because it's really important for you to understand, because it becomes important when you know that slouching and shoulders rounding are going to affect it. I'm going to go into that in more detail. But just for the moment, subacromial, underneath the acromial, impingement syndrome. So what we're doing, like when we go like, oh yeah, there it is, you can feel that pain, that sort of thing. So this is why the anatomy is so important, so that once you understand the structures and what affects them, then you can understand the problem, what is going on. So let's get into that now. I'm going to show you the graphics so you get a good understanding of what this impingement is all about. It's the most common shoulder problem by a mile. All right, so let's have a look at this. Now, shoulder impingement syndrome, otherwise known as subacromial impingement syndrome. Okay, now, so, all right, so you remember you've got your acromion here, and what happens with this? So if you just have a look here, so this will generally, it'll be on top of the shoulder, it might be a little bit down the side there, and so what's happened is, if you can imagine your humeral head. Normally, when I raise my arm, okay, if I do it that way, there's your humerus, and there's your acromion above it. So you see it here, right there. Now, what happens is, when that's free to move under there, lovely, no problems at all, no impingement, terrific. So, however, when this space gets compromised, now it might be because poor posture, which we'll look at as the person's forward, because look, if I sit up, no problem at all. There's plenty of space, do it that way, plenty of space underneath my acromion for my humerus to rotate, okay? So, in other words, that supraspinatus tendon is going under nicely, the bursa is going under nicely, everything's, but, now look, if you slouch, try it now. So I want you to slouch forward, and now go, there it is. I can't go any further. When I'm sitting up, no problem at all. One of the most common things that people, they start to tear these muscles, because if this keeps getting impinged, it will just keep going grind, and you'll start to degenerate, wear and tear, and start to get rotator cuff tears in the supraspinatus. Okay, so what this will do is it'll inflame this, and then, so let me go back. So, okay, so when the shoulder blades are back and down, which I'll teach you. In other words, I'm broad across the shoulder. This is going to help my shoulders because there's much more room. When I'm right like this, there's virtually no room, and it just jams up immediately. Problem is, a lot of people are halfway in between. So there might not be pain when they're doing it. It's kind of restricted, but it just keeps going grind, and then suddenly gets inflated. Then it becomes a much bigger problem. Okay, so the point of this is getting squeezed. It could be the bursa. Now, again, remember, they get squeezed, they get aggravated, they get irritated, and it becomes an itis. Okay, irritation of the bursitis, or tendinitis, supraspinatus in this case, tendinitis. And then it can become worse and become a tear. All right, so that is your subacromial bursa there. So what we're going to be doing is getting more space by doing various things to get that from stop banging and grinding everything there. We're going to get that so there's more room so I can go underneath the acromion much easier. So let me teach you the tests that you want to be doing. Oh, before we go there, this is the painful arc. This is why it's called a painful arc syndrome. And what you're going to see here, no pain, 60 to 120 degrees. Why is that? Well, because when the shoulder's by its side, okay, it's not getting aggravated. But those irritated tissues, whether it's bursa, tendon, or both, so it's not getting there. And now I start lift up, and this is what you'll see, and it's called painful arc. And it might start anywhere between this range, like you see in the diagram. So what will happen, they go, oh, yeah, I can feel it. And you might get, and I'll teach you this in a second, you get the person to go, okay, just can you keep going through it? Keep going through it? Yep, no, it hurts all the way. Oh, it doesn't hurt up here at all. Just like you can see in the diagram, okay? Because those structures have now passed through that obstruction underneath the acromion. So you can imagine it's gone, so there was nothing, and then it's going grind, and it's past it. That's why you get that. So, and we'll talk about this as well. Well, I will. You want to decrease that painful arc, which is showing you there's less length of that getting obstructed. So if they started off like this, and it's painful all the way through, and then you did some treatment or exercise, and then they go, here it is here. Now it's gone. See how you've decreased that arc? That is a very positive thing that you've done to decreasing the arc. Hey there, and welcome to my channel. Hey look, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and if you're interested in doing massage and therapies online, you can go to my website. It's in the link in my bio there, and you can go to check out my website as well.